Alright, in this video we're going over Parabolas Part 1. So just like the previous videos, this will be a Part 1 and a Part 2. So, parabolas. Parabolas by definition are the set of all points whose distance from one central location and a line are the same. So, that one central location they're talking about is the focus point of your parabola. And then the line they're talking about is a line that if this opens up, it's a horizontal line below your parabola. And that line is actually called the directrix. It's kind of weird to say. But that line is called, make sure I spell it right. That's your directrix line, which we'll get to in the next video. More about that line. All right. So, but this perpendicular distance from this point to this line would be the same length as from this point to the focus point. Same thing with these two, and those two. All right. Now, interesting fact about parabolas. All right. Have you ever noticed that any kind of a satellite dish is always in the shape of a parabola? That is because, all right, if you looked at this like a cross section of a satellite dish, and you had all those signals coming in this way from the satellite in space, when they hit that dish and bounce back, regardless of where it comes in and hits, there's going to be a central point where after they bounce off the satellite dish, there's going to be a central location where all of them cross. Every one of them will cross there. All right, that's why if you've ever noticed in the satellite dish, it's got that little piece. And this is going to be a really poor drawing, but when you have your satellite dish, it's got that piece that sticks up. Then it has it has a little thing here that almost looks like a little receiver. That's because as all of these signals are coming in and bouncing off, that's where they're going to be concentrated. That is called your focus point. The point where all of those lines cross is your focus point. Alright? Just an interesting little fact there about satellite dishes. That's why they're shaped like parabolas. So that way anything that bounces off of them is concentrated to a single location. Alright? So, let's keep going here. Alright. There's 4 types of parabolas. You have one that opens up. The focus point will be inside, and your directrix line will be below down here. This is your directrix line. That's your focus point. You also have the one that opens down. Your directrix line will be above it. So this is your directrix line, and then your focus point will be in here somewhere. Alright, those are called vertical parabolas. Those are called vertical parabolas. And your equation for them is x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. Now, this p value right here, if p is positive, that means it opens up. If p is negative, that means it opens down. Alright, so positive, you open up. Negative, it opens down. Alright, now you also have parabolas that open to the left. The directrix line is out here somewhere. And your focus point, of course, is inside. And then you also have one that opens right. This is your directrix, and this is your focus point. Alright? These are called your horizontals. so for vertical, this is your information for vertical. For horizontal, alright, see how x comes first here? Y is going to come first here. Y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h. And then if p is positive, that means it goes to the right. If p is negative, that means it goes to the left. So if it's positive, it opens right. If it's negative, it opens left. Alright. Now, an easy way to keep these separated is this. See how your x comes first, but also notice how in this your only variable that is squared is your x. That mimics your directrix line. So since x comes first, that means that your directrix line follows the x-axis. So that means that your directrix line is horizontal, so your parabola opens vertical. Alright? So, again, since x is squared, that means your directrix line follows your x-axis, so your parabola is vertical. And here, when it's horizontal, your y is squared, not the x, just the y is squared. And again, since y is squared, that means your directrix line follows the y-axis, so your directrix line is vertical, meaning your parabola opens horizontal. Then you just have to look and see if p is positive, it opens up or right. If p is negative, it opens down or left. Alright? So, let's work some problems here. Let's work some problems. Get this erased. Alright, so here's an example. We have y minus 2 squared plus 16 x plus 1 equals 0. And what I want you to do is we're going to find the direction. So does it open left, right? Does it open up, down? So first thing we got to do, let me change colors here. First thing we got to do, step 1. Alright, we have to figure out which letter is not squared. Alright, which letter is not squared? Actually, let me rephrase that. Changing up how I do this. Which letter is squared? Because remember, the letter that's squared, that's the direction that your directrix line follows. Alright? So if you look, y is squared, so that means our directrix line, alright, since y is squared, that means our directrix line follows the x-axis. So that means that our parabola will have to open left or right. Alright? If you want to look at which letter is not squared, okay, since x is not squared, because you can do this either way, which letter is not squared? Alright, since that's x, then you know that it's left-right immediately. Alright, you can remember it either which way you want. Which letter is squared? That's the direction of your directrix line. Which letter is not squared? That's the direction it opens. You can remember it either way you want. Alright? So, now that we know it opens left-right, I'm going to erase this so I have more room to write. Now that we know it opens left-right, we need to get our equation in the form y minus k squared equals 4p x minus h. So how are we going to do that? Well, if you go back to our equation, we need to take all of this and move it to this side. So to do that, we're going to subtract it. We're going to subtract it from both sides. So we have y minus 2 squared equals negative 16x plus 1. So we know it opens left, right. And since this is negative, we know that it's left, right, and then p is negative. So p is negative, so we know it opens left. Okay? Since p is negative, we know it opens left. So, if your equation is not in the standard form for a parabola, you want to get it in standard form for a parabola. Because then you can look and very quickly find out if it opens left, right, up, or down. Y is squared. We know a directrix line is horizontal, so we know our parabola opens left, right. I'm sorry, vertical, so we know our parabola opens left, right. When you bring the 16x plus 1 over to the other side of the equal sign, we can clearly see p is negative, so it opens to the left. Alright, let's look at another problem. Alright, here we go. I want you to put this in your notes. So I'm going to give you a chance to solve it before I solve it. Alright, I want you to find the direction. Find the direction. Pause the video, take a little bit, and find the direction. Alright, so which letter is squared? X is squared. We know our directrix line mirrors the x-axis. So therefore, we know our parabola opens up or down. Alright, we know it opens up or down. So now what we need to do is get the x squared isolated. We can leave the 8 with it, but we need to get rid of this and get it moved over. So we're going to add the 12 times y plus 3 to both sides. So our equation is going to come out to 8x minus 4 squared equals 12y plus 3. Since this is positive, that means it opens to the right. I'm sorry. It means it opens up. So our direction, it opens up. Alright. So it's it for parabolas right now. We'll get a little deeper into them in the next video. For now, all we're solving for is the direction. Does it open up, down, left, or right? Don't forget that your standard form for your equation is x minus h squared equals 4p y minus k, or you have y minus k squared equals 4p x minus h. Remember, this one is for vertical parabolas, and this one is for horizontal parabolas. Alright? Vertical and horizontal. So, you can watch this video as many times as you need to. Make sure you come to class tomorrow, ready to work some problems. See you tomorrow.